So for today's video, it's going to be something a little different. So just a fair warning, if you don't like furries or you have nothing good to say about furries, you can leave. Otherwise, I hope you enjoy. Hello, Techno Tinkers. This is Becky Money. It's been a long time coming that I've wanted to make a video in my suit, so here we go. Normally I would have done actually a full suit, and I actually tried to do it a bit earlier, but it's much too hot, so we're just gonna improvise a little bit. Now, I had gone ahead and made a small poll on my Furry amino to go ahead and see what my first fursuit video should be. And 50% vote of that was how I became a furry, so this is how I became a furry. I also have to apologize if the audio sounds a little muffled. It is a little hard to hear while I'm in this, but bear with me. So, much like a lot of little kids, I was very much into animals. And when I say little kid, like when I was like 5, 6, 7, 8, I would be pretending that I'm running around like a cheetah or pretending to be the dog when playing house. So, of course, I used to be one of those few that would play as the dog while I was at home, putting in a small bowl of Fritos on the floor in a bowl so I can eat it just like a pet. I know it's weird, but it was fun. It was something to do, you know? Anywho, I always had this like really fond love for animals. My grandparents used to take me to the zoo all the time because we were so close by. So it was really nice to, you know, see all these little animals running around, because it's definitely something you don't see every day. As well as my love of animals, I loved the idea of costumes, as I was actually a pretty adamant cosplayer for quite a few years. I still cosplay on occasion, but it's not as much anymore, though I do want to come back to it soon. A lot of my cosplay stuff kind of stemmed from the idea of always looking at those high school or middle school mascots with the big heads and just wanting to see how that worked, and you know, how interesting it would be to just be able to put on a head and kind of act as somebody else. As well, it was fun to be able to kind of interact with everyone without them immediately judging you on your face. Luckily, amongst the timing of around high school, still admiring the mascots of my school, I was actually lucky enough to actually be a mascot of sorts. Back in 2012, my mother, who was a school teacher, decided it would be a great idea to get one of those big Easter bunny costumes to make memories and take photos with her school kids. I'm sure you can see where this might be going. So she brings home this suit, and it's a little terrifying because they always kind of look that way. She decided to get this suit, and around Easter time, lo and behold, it actually fit my head pretty well, and the suit wasn't too bad. It was still a little loose, but it was manageable. So I, from then on, was the Easter Bunny and have been since that day. As the Easter Bunny, and as kind of years went on, of course, not only was it the absolute thrill to be able to be this big mascotted character, to run around and take pictures with kids and some adults, because adults kind of, you know, make memories and stuff. I got to hold babies, and it was adorable, and a lot of them were kind of scared of me, which was fine. I get it, you know, I'd be the same way. And it was nice. It was actually a pretty nice experience overall. Now, at this time, I kind of just saw it as like a mascot. It was a holiday mascot, that's it. The term furry wasn't actually something that I had heard before. In fact, I actually didn't hear it until maybe about a year or two after that, when my friend had told me that she was a furry. She said it so casually that I actually don't remember what the context was. Either she was drawing animals, or it was maybe just something that came up, but she said, hey, you know, I'm part of this community, it's called Furries, and I'm a fox. And I was like, oh, that's cool. Shoom. I had no idea what she was talking about. I did end up asking her a few questions after that, but I didn't really quite understand, because either she didn't give me a good definition or it just wasn't something that I understood, you know? So high school continues to roll around. I'm still the Easter Bunny doing my thing, but it's only around Easter, so, you know, nothing else really happens. And during that time, I did find it a little awkward that the bunny suit that I was using was for a Peter Cottontail, so it was male. Which, you know, it's fine, it's for an event, and there wasn't really much issue with it. Of course, I was called a guy all the time, and it wasn't very obvious with the suit because it was so loose. I didn't have any curves or anything. I did try to fix that problem a bit later on with making a dress and trying to put bows on it, but it was still kind of creepy. So there was still that kind of back thought in my head of how could I make a more female bunny. Kind of was stuck in the back of my head, but I didn't really know what to do. Now, the thing that actually started me making suits and getting more into this furry thing was actually during the Texas Renaissance Fair. And I know that sounds like it's coming out of left field, but let me explain. So my dad, as well as my siblings, were very much into Dungeons and Dragons and all that kind of Renaissance-y bit. But one of his big goals was to go to this Renaissance fair or some kind of Renaissance festival because he had talked about it for years and he just never did it. So come 2014, I believe, we had actually gone to our first Renaissance festival. And it was pretty nice, you know. They got to make their D&D characters and I got to get a princess dress and pretend like I fit in. But it was fun. Now, after that first year, I found it interesting that there were so many dragons and stuff, and this was a bit before Game of Thrones, so I wanted to kind of be this like dragon tamer. So I got a little dragon for my shoulder, and the following year I ended up getting one for a staff that I had made. Now, that year of 2015 Texas Renaissance Fair, we're all decked out. I'm prepared, I want to take some pictures, and probably about midway through the day, I'm walking around with my mom, and from a distance I see this beautiful golden dragon. And there were statues around, as well as people pretending to be statues, because that's what people do at the Renaissance Fair. And this dragon in particular was moving and posing, and it had these beautiful layered wings, and it was just interacting with people. A little different than some of the mascots and stuff that I'd been used to. And it was much more than just a costume. And it was beautiful. I actually learned, and many years later, that the name of the dragon was called Fire Flicker. And you can actually find them on Facebook. But this beautiful golden dragon was just there, and of course me being the beginning dragon tamer lover that I am, I said, oh my gosh, let's take a picture. So, of course, the dragon doesn't say anything because some people do that. They just don't talk when they're in suit. And he looks at me, he bows, he takes a bow, and I ask the photographer that's with him, can we take a picture? And she says, of course. So we stand, I'm looking at this dragon as he bows to me, and then there's a picture of him grabbing my head, and it's really cute. They are really cute. And it wasn't until that interaction that I kind of decided from then on, I want to do that. That looks like something I can do, and I want to do it. So, lo and behold, I start making a dragon not even a month afterwards. November of 2015 begins my production of Adelinda, which is my mother dragon, as I call her. And I start working on this thing for 6 or 7 months, and I guess what would probably be called a partial, because it was a head, gloves, feet, a tail, and I had kind of improvised the middle body so it looked like a full suit. And I was pretty proud of it. You know, did I know that I was fursuiting or that I was a furry? Not particularly, no. I did look at a couple videos that involved like making certain elements, but a lot of what I did on her suit actually didn't do much with fur. So I didn't think that it really counted as a furry. I just thought it was kind of like a cosplay. It's just a costume. Because people can make some extravagant costumes. I've seen them. But, you know, I didn't really make that connection right away. It wasn't until I had actually gone to my first convention with the suit, which was South Texas Comic-Con. Though it was small, it was the first time that I had kind of gone out and in this suit. And surprise, surprise, a couple people actually called me a furry. And though she wasn't finished, because I would be finishing the wings a bit afterwards, I kind of started that reel of like, am I a furry? Is this what furries do? Just dress up and like, is that a part of it? So a month or two passes and I finish off the suit by making these glorious wings that move via a wire system that's connected to my back. A couple more tutorials on YouTube for that. And even though I had made it out of some like cheaper materials and stuff, it seemed pretty nice for the time and I was still really, really proud of it. So when the next Renaissance Festival in 2016 rolled around, I actively went out and was looking for that dragon. And of course, my biggest accomplishment from that Renaissance Festival was that I did end up finding that dragon again. And I was so excited to show Fireflicker this new dragon who didn't even have a badge or not much of a name to her yet, but I made this beautiful dragon and I was so excited to show him. And I once again went up to that photographer that was with him and said, hey, can I take a picture? And they looked at me and they kind of looked up and down. They said, oh my god, that's a really good costume. And I was like, oh, thank you! And so I'm all excited. And I go and I do what all dragons do when they meet each other, which is tuck in their hands like this and kind of squat down a little bit and kind of turn their head and in like a question of like, can I approach? And he bows as he does. I still call it a he. It could be a girl underneath there. I actually don't know. They won't tell me. So I tilt my head, I bow in response, and I say, can we please take a picture? He nods. And he grabs his wings and he holds them up so that they're these nice layered wings in a beautiful pose. And I ever cleverly take my little strings that I have attached to my back and I pull down and like a little, I do kind of a girth thing. It's kind of hard to do on camera here, but I do this so it pulls the wires and my wings extend. And my moment of excitement when the dragon looks at me and kind of does a little happy wiggle like, oh, that's really nice. Oh. Just made my day. That one made my day. I had that experience and it was amazing. And it wasn't even like a month afterwards that I said, I want to do that again. So after that experience of just being this glorious dragon and taking pictures with other people as well as my like idol for it, I decided to try to make another suit. And I kind of thought about it for a bit and I said, maybe I should try this whole furry thing. I'll try to make something fluffier. Well, hey, what about that Easter bunny thing that I had in mind? So, starting maybe about a month after that Renaissance fair, I started planning out and drawing a female bunny. And originally, since I already had a dress in mind, I figured, you know, I would make a dress for her and she'll be the Easter bunny, and then maybe for conventions she'll be whatever else. I had so many plans for Becky Bunny about making costumes for her, so she was like a cosplay bunny, and, you know, just trying to work off of that. But I haven't really done much of that yet. It's never too late. I ended up making Becky Bunny within a couple months after that, and it wasn't not long after that I said, okay, I guess I'm a furry. Diving so deep into the community from there that I started posting on Furry Amino. I made my Furry Amino in 2017, and I just started offering art, and I started looking into proper fursuit making, what kind of supplies I need, things like that, because this community is so there's so much to this community in terms of art and artistic skill, as well as I had already been doing costumes, so what's the difference in terms of fursuits? But it's so much more. It's so much more, and it's so much more rewarding, because my dragon ended up being almost pretty much a permanent appearance in the Renaissance fairs every time we go, and I have plans for remaking her. I've already started remaking her. I have plans for remaking Becky Bunny, and we are just diving deeper and deeper into the rabbit hole. Well, I hope you enjoyed my bit of rambling here. It's my first time doing a fursuit video, and I really hope you guys liked it, because I would love to do this more and more often, especially with my new progress with my dragon, as well as when I start remaking my bunny suit, as well as maybe some other suits in the future. And if this is something that you want to see more, then go ahead and subscribe to the channel. I definitely plan to make a few more videos with these, but since a lot of my stuff is more crafting, I probably won't have the head on as much. And as well, if you like this video in particular, go ahead and leave a like. I really appreciate it. And of course, if you have any suggestions for other videos that I can make in my suits, or just other videos in general, feel free to leave it down in the comments, or go ahead and send a tweet over to Boltbindarian. Of course, after all my rambling, I'd like to thank you very much for watching. This is Becky Bunny signing out, and I will see you all very soon. Bye! Becky Bunny is so cute!